welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Alex and we're doing makeup. We do makeup stuff here. A theme throughout a lot of my tutorials has been glowing skin, flawless base makeup. I have a technique that I have talked about in the past, and today I wanted to, can you not do that today? Not today. I have a technique that I want to go into depth about. This is gonna be great for every skin type, every single skin type. And the main thing about it is that it really helps to like blend the makeup into the skin, set it into the skin so that it stays put, okay? We're going for glowy, flawless base makeup that stays, all right? Look at me with the clips in my hair. Okay, so first, skin prep, obviously. My typical skin prep has been like a mist, some kind of a mist. Then I use a serum. I've been using the collagen serum from the Outset, and then I go in with the Outset moisturizer. So I personally am a big believer in like your personal skincare. So if you have like personal skincare that works for you, that like once you put it on, you're happy with the way your skin looks, stick with that. Doesn't necessarily have to be like a million different primers or something like that. And if you do want to see how to choose the correct primer for your skin type, please let me know. I can make that video. So the first thing that I'm going to do is apply my foundation. I'm going to be using the MAC Studio Fix. I love this foundation. It just wears like so beautiful. There's a bunch of different foundations that I love and that I use and I just kind of like cycle through. If you want to see a video on my favorite foundations, let me know. But this one is just like it's such a go-to. It just like lasts all day long. It creates a really flawless base. So I'm going to be using this. This is in the shade NC13, if you've ever wondered what my MAC color is. So I'm going to put just like a couple pumps on the back of my hand, just so I have it to begin with. And then I'm going to grab my damp beauty sponge. I love a damp sponge. You can use a brush with this also. It's like, it's your preference basically, but I love like a slightly damp sponge. You want to make sure you're getting it wet, wringing it out. When I squeeze it, nothing's coming out. No water. You know what I mean? That's really important. Because you're gonna get breakage if you're going in with too much water on your sponge. It's not gonna blend well. The trick leads me to spraying your sponge with some kind of a mist, okay? Which brings me to today's sponsor. Thank you to Dalba for sponsoring this portion of the video. We're gonna be using the White Truffle Spray Serum. If you're not familiar with this, I have used this on the channel before, but this is Korea's #1 skincare selling product that is trusted by Korean makeup artists. We all love Korean skincare, you know what I mean? So I'm going to spray my sponge. This is something that you've seen me do if you've been watching my videos. I was gonna say tutorials, which is the same. I love to rehydrate my sponge, like if it's been sitting. Sometimes I'll get it wet. I gotta be careful. That's like starting to run down my hand. I'll wring it out and then it's just kind of sitting because I like get distracted. I'm not doing my makeup yet. So I love to really like work a setting mist into the sponge to either rehydrate it if I'm lazy and I don't want to go get water, or the great thing about it is because this spray serum has like moisturizing and skincare effects, it's really, really going to help like create a glow, a natural glow to the skin. It can help prevent pilling, creasing, all of the things that we're trying to avoid, right? So I'm loading up my sponge. I'm just going to start placing this in the center of my face. I love to start in the area where I have like the most redness, which is like around my nose, and just slowly blend it out. Now, I have just recently started using a stronger vitamin C serum, and my skin barrier is going through it. So added hydration, added skincare in my makeup is very important. You can also, rather than like spraying the sponge, you can also just like put it on the back of your hand and just give it a little spritz like that. Just whatever your preference is. I would say that I do both, but I probably focus spraying it on the sponge more so. So just slowly blending out. This will also help to kind of like sheer out any foundation that might be a little bit too like full coverage. But the main thing is that it just sort of like helps to manipulate the formula so that it's not too much. You're not going in with too much, but you're maintaining that coverage. So you can see like redness, gone, like gone, right? All around my nose. Gently blending outwards, but look at the finish of my skin. Despite the fact that this is like an oil serum mixture, and I'm someone who tends to lean a little bit more on the oily side, it doesn't make my skin oily. It just makes my skin look like hydrated and healthy. You'll also, when you use this technique, feel like a tiny bit more of a grip to the makeup as you're putting it down. So it won't be too slippery. There are some mists that just end up making things a little too slippery, and so it slides around your face, which can make it really, really difficult to layer products on top, and that can lead to creasing. See, this time I just sprayed it directly on here and now I'm picking it up. I don't have a preference. I just will do whatever. I just wanted to give you a deep zoom so that you could see how my skin looks just with the serum and the foundation. Not oily, not too dewy, very, very natural. Like it looks, it just looks like flawless skin to me, but hydrated, you know? You also have the option, like after you've applied your foundation, if you feel like you need a little bit more hydration and you didn't do this step in between, like spraying the sponge or brush first, you can absolutely do it afterwards and just go into any areas that you feel like might need a little bit more hydration. This is actually a really great tip for like refreshing your makeup throughout the day. Like if you did your makeup super early in the morning and you need to touch it up for later in the evening, going in with the spray serum and just kind of like rehydrating your base allows all the powders, whatever you've like applied to your face throughout the day, to like kind of sink into the skin and become more of a cream so that you can go in with creams to do touch-ups. So I like to do my contouring next. So I'm gonna start off with my jawline. I'm gonna take my Sephora contour stick. This is in the shade Fair to Light. I'm gonna put it on the back of my hand like that. I'm gonna shake up my mist. Make sure you shake it so that you mix everything together. And I'm just gonna mist on the back of my hand and then pick up with my brush. You also have the option to just spray the brush directly. This is actually a really great tip for those of you who tend to be a little bit heavy-handed. I know I can especially when I'm in a rush. By adding this step in, it kind of forces you to take a second and think about what you're doing, so you're not just like going in and drawing a ton of makeup like all over your face, so that you end up like not going in with too much and it being overwhelming. Because everybody, please remember that it's a lot easier to build up a product and a lot harder to remove it. Especially with this product, this contour that I use is incredibly pigmented. I just talked about it in one of my recent videos. I talked about how incredibly pigmented this is, especially for very pale skin. And this technique really helps to kind of like sheer it out so that it's not too overwhelming. I'm gonna do the same thing with my cheek contour. For that, I use Anastasia Fawn. Put that on the back of my hand. This is also very helpful for, like, it's cold. I mean, it's not freezing here. It's LA, but it's kind of cold in here. And whenever it's cold in here, my like sticks tend to be just a little more like tough, you know? So putting it on the back of your hand and then misting it can really help to kind of like soften that formula so that it's a lot easier to blend. So it's the same thing. I'm just gonna mix my brush into that little combo. And for those of you who've been watching my channel for a long time, you can see how much softer this technique makes the makeup go down and how much more natural. So if you're feeling like your makeup ends up looking like really heavy, really cakey, like maybe you're too dry, you just need more moisture, or you feel like your makeup is just kind of like, to make your makeup last, you have to mattify it, this is a really fantastic technique. Remember, you don't necessarily need to use a setting powder. If you're able to incorporate this kind of technique into your skincare, into your makeup, I said it because it's skincare, and achieve the finish that you want, then don't feel like you need to use all of those products if it's gonna end up making your skin look like too powdery, too dry, too cakey, or just like too much. All right, I am gonna go in with a little bit of bronzer, and I'm gonna do the same thing. So I'm gonna take my Merit bronzer. This is in Quince. Putting it on the back of my hand. This is actually one of my resolutions for 2025, is to just be like a little bit more present in general, but also be like more intentional when I'm doing my makeup. So you can see when I spray it on that bronzer, it just like really helps to sheer it out. I haven't really been contouring my forehead, or bronzing my forehead, I mean, because I've got bangs now. So you like mostly don't even see it. As far as like how many spritzes, I would say 1 to 2. Depends on like how matte the formula is and like what finish you're going for. but I generally do like 1 to 2. On my sponge, I did a little bit more than that. Just going in and blending. Make sure you're blending. You want to make sure that everything is just like melting together. I love how soft this looks though. Looks incredibly soft, but we are like bringing a little bit of shape to the face. All right, I'm going to contour my nose. I'm going to be using my Etude Reborn Maker. This is the Cool Shading Stick. Under my lip a little bit. And then using my Refer 14. This is the mini. I'm gonna mist the brush a little bit and blend those out. I'm just gonna go in with a little bit more of my Anastasia contour because I wanna like, I don't know what that was. I wanna just like carve out those cheekbones just a little bit. Yeah. Just a little something more. All right, concealer. This is one of the best. This is one of the best tricks for concealer. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to give you a deep zoom, actually. My under eyes. I hope that you can see. The older we get, like movement and stuff, I do have fine lines that are forming here underneath. Obviously, I have naturally just like deep creases around my lower lash line. Achieving hydration without creasing can be really difficult to navigate. And this is another reason that this is such a great technique for this area. It hydrates in a very lightweight kind of way. So it's not going to create creasing. It's going to prevent creasing. It's also going to keep everything put, okay? So I'm gonna start off with my color corrector, which is just the NARS concealer in the shade Nougatine. I'm gonna spritz very lightly, just one. Pick it up with my Nikki brush with BK Beauty. It's the N16 brush. Just a little bit. I'm going to gently buff that underneath my eyes. So I'm doing a light layer of this just to color correct and add warmth. Remember, you don't want to add too much because that will, no matter what, that will lead to creasing if you're applying way too much of a product, okay? And again, if you have that tendency, then this technique of misting is going to be really, really helpful to shear that product out a little bit to prevent you from applying too much. Before I go with my under eye concealer, I'm going to go in with my Kosas concealer. This is in the shade 0.5 Neutral, and do a little bit of spot concealing. I'm going to mist that directly twice, and then using that same Nikki brush, I'm just going to use a teeny bit of this in areas where I want a little bit more coverage. So I typically like a little bit more in here. So I'm going to go ahead and I like to lay out these colors before I go in with my under eye concealer because I want to be able to set my under eye concealer like relatively quickly, which will also help prevent creasing and keep everything put. I like to do the corners, just under the corners of my mouth. Tend to get a little bit of darkness there. Sometimes I'll take a little bit underneath that contour, like just right in there. Ooh, just kicks it out a little bit more, you know? And this isn't like a ridiculous highlighting concealer. It's pretty close to my skin tone. So it just does a little something without being way too much, you know? And then I am going to take a little bit of that. I have a couple little spots that I want to conceal. Just gonna add a little bit more coverage with that. Those areas. And then in any areas where I have like specific spots, I'm just gonna mist again. And then mist my brush individually. Just a little bit. This is my Refer 03 brush. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of that concealer. And just dab in those areas. And including that mist will really help that stay put and not move around. But it will also hydrate, and we all know how difficult it is when you have, like a breakout that you're trying to conceal. They're all like, no matter what, if you've been using some kind of like an acne spot treatment or something, that skin just wants to be dry and it wants to look obvious when you spot conceal it. So that added hydration is just like so necessary. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Let's move on. So obviously I didn't fully blend that concealer. I'm gonna do that with my sponge. So I'm gonna grab my Sigma Wedge sponge. I'm gonna hydrate it with my mist. And I kind of just like, I'll mist it until I feel like it's hydrated enough. And that's like, that can be kind of a difficult thing to figure out. You don't want it to be overly saturated, but you do want it to feel like you got some hydration in there. You don't want it to feel too dry. So that's gonna take like a little bit of practice on your part because it'll depend on your skin type and what your preference is. I'm gonna throw down a little bit of Rare Beauty 100W. Concealer was way too much. I'm not gonna use that much. On the back of my hand, I'm gonna pick up my NC16 brush. I'm not misting it this time. You can. Like you can do it at every step, basically. It'll be your preference. I'm gonna place this underneath my eyes to brighten. I'm not gonna take it all the way up. Keeping it a little lower in the hollow along the side of my nose. And then up. Give a little lift to the eye. So these are the areas that I really like to brighten, like right here and right there. Gorge. All right. Now, you've seen me do this a million times, okay? You've seen me do this a million times. Am I hydrated enough? I'm gonna give it one more spritz. Okay, two. I lied. Now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna blend. And oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start off with the areas that I placed that first concealer. So chin, corners of the mouth, underneath my, what's this called? Cheekbone. And then I'm gonna go in and blend my under eye. And this just makes blending so much easier. Really, you can see how much we like, do you see the glow of my skin right now? No oil, no dryness, looks like skin, just presses it, it really just like makes it one with your skin. It really creates that like glass skin effect. But I feel like a lot of the time when you see people trying to achieve glass skin, a lot of the time people are using filters and it ends up just looking like oily. It's like oily with a filter on top of it, you know? This is what glass skin is to me. Just flawless hydration. And yes, I don't have a ton of acne. I don't have rosacea, but I'm telling you, if you've watched any of my other tutorials, if you take your time with it, if you focus on spot concealing, you focus on things like hydration and the amount that you're applying, you're going to create the illusion of flawless skin without actually having flawless skin. You know? And I'm gonna do the same thing with my blush. So I'm gonna put a little bit of Pretty Peach from Nude Sticks on the back of my hand, spritz it, and then apply to the cheeks. If you're not familiar with white truffles, they contain vitamin C, vitamin B12, minerals, and amino acids. So the spray is going to help create like a smooth, even skin tone. It's gonna help prevent the look of fine lines and wrinkles and hyperpigmentation. And it'll help to repair your skin's natural barrier, which is something that I have been working towards. I mean, I think I did it, but you know, now that I've started this vitamin C, this stronger vitamin C serum, it's a focus again. So anything that's gonna repair my skin barrier, I'm a fan of. I'm gonna pop a little bit of that over the top of my nose because I'm feeling cute. I'm just gonna do a quick brow. I'm not gonna go into depth about this. I just like to do it before I put my powder down. Okay, despite the fact that I have not set my under eyes yet, can we see how nice it looks? No, like, I don't know which way to go. No deep settling in lines. So nice. Okay, so I am going to build up underneath my eyes just a teeny bit. I just want to do like, whoo, right there. You definitely don't have to do all of these layers, but just remember that like you can take your time with your makeup if you have the time. I'm gonna go in once again, mist my sponge, and I'm tapping it on the back of my hand. Just if you feel like you go in with a little too much or you don't need as much, make sure everything is nice and blended. And then I'm going to set my under eyes. I'm going to be using my what? I don't know what I'm saying. I was going to say Huda powder, pound cake, all in the same. Huda powder and pound cake. Ugh. I'm going to tap a little bit in the cap. Like about, I don't know how well you can see that. Very small amount. Very small amount just in the top of the cap. I'm going to grab my puff from Linda Hallberg, LH Cosmetics. Load up, tapping it off on my hand. Again, minimal amounts here. Are we blended? That's pretty blended to me. And then I'm gonna set. Oop. Just gently tapping. Nice and set. And then in any areas where you like tend to get a little bit oily throughout the day, I'm like very happy with the way my skin looks. I'm gonna take the teeniest little amount and just press it right here to keep that in place. Right there where you tend to like look a little oily, you know, like around the nose. Right in between my brows. Just this part of my forehead. And then the tip of my chin. That's where I tend to look a little oily. Okay, so here's the close-up so far. Very natural looking. Very skin-like. Okay, I gave my lashes a curl just to give them like a little bit of a lift. And then I used Refi Stone lip liner, and then I put on my Auric Plush Ritual and Bare. I know people always like, this is the best nude lip in the entire world, and people always ask me what it is. So I'm going to finish off the skin by applying a little bit of a highlighter. I'm going to use Hindash La Luna Gradient Highlighter. It looks so white on camera. I'm going to use the tiniest little amount. And one side is like slightly more icy and one side's a little more yellow, but I never remember which side is which. And I like them both, so I'm probably just going to like mix it together. Just going to dust this on the very top of the cheekbone. Just up here. I'm gonna pop a teeny little bit of that in my inner corner just to create cohesiveness throughout the look. Just kind of ties the eyes into the skin. You don't want all of that to look disconnected. Okay, and then just to finish, shake it up. I'm gonna go in and mist my whole face with the White Truffle Spray Serum. Just to lock in all that powder. I just want everything to look like skin. I wanna bring glow to the face. Let me fix this hair real quick. Cute. All right, people, here's a deep zoom. Look at how gorgeous that is. Flawlessness. Okay? Look at that. It just looks like skin. My skin looks hydrated. It looks flawless. It looks beautiful. I love it. I don't even have my eyes done, but I feel like I could go out looking just like, feeling confident, you know? Feeling confident, feeling hydrated. No creases, no settling, no heavy makeup, you know? Beautiful shape and color to the face. Hi, I'm back. I wanted to check in with you and just show you how this wore, because I often get comments from people who'll be like, yeah, but it'll fall apart. It'll like melt off within like an hour or a few minutes, or it'll wipe off or whatever. So I just wanted to show you. I finished filming at, what time did I finish filming? A little after 11 a.m. What time did I eat? Yeah, I think it was like 11:12, something or like close to that. And now it is 6:32. So that's like a decent amount of time to be wearing makeup, you know? So let me give you a deep zoom so you can see how we're looking. Focus on me. Thank you so much. This is where we are. Glow. I feel like I'm very happy with this. Still got a glow. Still my light trying to turn off. Skin's not feeling wet or anything, you know? So I feel like we maintained a really nice, natural, flawless looking hydrated finish all day long, despite me, you know, making soup, eating soup, doing laundry, cleaning. I was basically just doing errands around my house. I did some editing, talking to my brother on the phone, you know, touching my face, making facial expressions. We survived. All right, I hope that this was helpful going into depth about a technique that I absolutely love, that I use regularly, okay? If I'm not spraying my sponge or my brush or the product itself, I'm doing all three. You know what I mean? Just remember how important, like if you are struggling with anything in your makeup, most things they're tied back to skincare. Make sure that you are taking care of your skin, that you have a skincare routine, that you are including skincare products into your makeup routine, especially if you are experiencing problems like creasing, cakiness, flakiness, dryness, any of those things. Obviously, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below, and I will be sure to try my best to help you fix any of your, you know, current makeup problems regarding complexion. If you are interested, obviously the Dalba spray will be linked down below, including all of the products that I have used. If they're not linked in the YouTube shop, they will be linked in the description. So just so you know, please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know what you want to see next. If you want to see any of those videos that I mentioned, you can become a channel member, blah, 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 whatever. Too many words, you know what I mean? And also I just wanted to give you a little like spin of my hair, because people seemed very concerned that I have bangs. But it's just that I have bangs. Like the back is still really long. I'm just like waiting to grow this into like kind of like a French bob. And right now it's just like a little short, you know, like it looks a little silly like that. So I've been tucking it, but I do have hair. I promise I have hair. Okay, bye.